Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 437 for the 6th of May. Let's start off with one of these breaking news. This is actually pretty bizarre. So the Bayraktar TB2 that was shot down by the Ukrainians themselves. That means they shot down their own drones over Kiev. So they reported that they lost control of the drones. So the Joker DPR, the hacker group, the Russian hacker group, has claimed responsibility that they have actually taken control of the Bayraktar and caused it to lose control. So this actually have a pretty big implications. If this can be done consistently, then the entire Bayraktar TB2 fleet will not be able to fly. So moving on to, over at the southern front, there is geolocation of Russian forces at Oleshki. This actually simply just confirms that the Russians are still there. Moving on from Kherson into the Zaporizhia line. At the Zaporizhia line, the Ukrainian counteroffensive has not happened just yet. The Russians are still evacuating civilians. Shelling is being reported at Huyaipole or Huyaipo on the 6th of May, which is the past 24 hours. And then moving on to the Donetsk front. At the Donetsk front, there is shelling reported at Voleda, and the Ukrainians reportedly have attacked south of Novomikhailivka. This is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. It's not a big group; it's just a very small group of forces that's moving south, and then they got attacked by the Russian forces. And then moving into the Marinka region. At the Marinka region, the fighting is still ongoing, with the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that the Russians launched multiple attacks. Then there is, according to the press center of the Yoke group of forces, Marinka, they actually deployed the flamethrower system, the TOS-1A, at Ukrainian positions, reportedly destroying a platoon stronghold near Marinka. And moving on into the Adiyevka front. At the Adiyevka front, the pro-Russian sources, pro-Ukrainian source Myro Shinikov reported fighting at Nevelsky and Pervomaisky. So Myro Shinikov is the only one that says there is fighting reported here. This is not corroborated by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry actually says that there is no Russian offensive in this entire whoops, sorry, it's so laggy, in this entire front. So this is kind of bizarre, if you ask me. And moving on to the New York front. In the New York front, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry continues to report that the Russians are attacking New York. Of course, the angle of attack is still unknown. It's not known if the Russians attack from the east or from the south. So, but they mentioned there's an attack against New York. So, moving on from New York front into the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, the Russians seems to have renewed their counteroffensive or their offensive at Bakhmut, with fighting reported towards Proteshny and Ivaniske. And then in the north, they also attack Bodanivka. Shelling is reported at Bodanivka and Chasivya, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. And then within Bakhmut, the Russian forces managed to have some breakthrough. Previously, the line was something like this. They managed to push forward towards Larisi Shepiko Street, and then on the most further end, closest to Kromove, they have the biggest move. According to Ryba's mapping, they actually progress down the Trudova Street and the Tobohina Street. So they are now at this alleged final line of defense that was reported by who is that name? Remilin. Yeah, Remilin. So Remilin said that this is actually the last line of defense, and the Russian forces currently is engaging them at the last line of defense. So fighting is also reported along the Larisi Shepiko Street, which I mentioned. This according to Syriac maps. as well as at the Vyzvolyteliv Tombus. I don't know how to pronounce this, man. Vyzvolyteliv. Then after that, also the one at Tubihina is by Ryba. And Ryba, SITREP also reported fighting along the Irini Levchenko Street. So there is some differences in terms of how they the information that they get. So I have combined them so into a pro-Russian version, which is actually looks like this. The Ukrainians actually done mining operation across the entire front line within the Bakhmut city itself, and this is reported by Ryba. They accordingly using the MON 50 anti-personnel mines. Geolocation of Russian forces is reported at this location where the Ukrainians actually blow up one of their buildings, which also means that the Wagner forces have managed to break through into the Citadel region, and this is going to this is actually the first step within into the Citadel region. There's no other fighting reported around the area. There is this is actually fifth. This is actually O, and so the Wagner forces actually submitted the application to withdraw on the 10th of May to be replaced by the Akhmat troops, the Akhmat Special Forces of the Chechen Republic. And however, this request has been somewhat rejected. Instead, for the first time, the Wagner forces actually received a military order, a combat order from the Russian Defense Ministry. So according to Prigozhin, he says in previous informations that they never gotten a single order from the military, and this is the first time they actually get it, and the Russian Defense Ministry actually promised any ammunition and weapons that the Wagner group requests. And on top of that, the Russian Defense Ministry also promised that they will take care of the flanks around Bakhmut, and they also assigned Surovikin as the person that will be commanding the general situation with Wagner, or at least liaise the communications between Wagner private military contractors and the Russian Defense Ministry. So so on top of that, Prigozhin also asked his troops, give the troops an opportunity to decide if they want to be deployed to other divisions or units within the Russian Defense Ministry or Russian military, and none of them agreed to, because ultimately the Wagner actually have decided to leave on the 10th. But because of this change, where the Russian Defense Ministry actually issued a military order to the Wagner group is going to be staying at Bakhmut. But at least they get what they want, unlimited ammo. So they got a cheat code. So moving on to the Sivas front. At the Sivas front, there is fighting reported at Sako Ivaseti, with the Ukrainians attacking towards this small little town. And then geolocation of a trench position that is overrun by the Ukrainians has been geolocated just south of the tiny little town. And over at Sperne, fighting is reported at Sperne, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, most likely to be in the south of Sperne. And over at Bilohorivka, the Russian forces actually entrenched themselves on the eastern side of the quarry. Previously, they actually attacked from the southeast. And according to the information from Ryba, it seems like the forces that is actually operating at Bilohorivka for the Russian side is actually the Chechen Akhmat force. Allegedly, this is the Akhmat North unit. So anyway, moving on from the Sivas front, we are into the Crimea front. At the Crimea front, there is no offensive operation from both sides. Shelling is being reported within the Serebransky forestry, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, and also at Dibrova. And further up north, there is shelling reported at Nevsky, and that's all from the Crimea front. And moving into the Svatove front, at the Svatove front, there is nothing except that there is shelling reported at Berestove, and within the Kupiansk front, there is shelling reported at Kaislivka. There's no more Ukrainian probing, totally unreported within the past 24 hours. Even if they do, I think it's a bit vague. There's no specific location being mentioned. And instead, the Ukrainians have been attacking Sinkivka, or from Sinkivka region within the Sikivka region for a long time already. This suddenly did not happen. Instead, the Russians are actually the one attacking Sinkivka. This is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, saying that the enemy conducted unsuccessful offensive operation at Sinkovka. So other than that, that's all from the Kupiansk Svetove front, and that is the summary for the day of 437 for the 6th of May, and I'll see you in the next update.